Today's lesson is on the angle of elevation and depression. We discussed yesterday in class that the angle of elevation is the angle in which an object or a person has to look up compared to the horizon line to view an object. So, for example, I have a horizon line, which is usually on the ground, but it could be horizontally in the air. And I want to put a person looking up. So that angle of elevation is the direction or the angle that the person has to actually adjust their eyes to look up. So I'm going to replace that person now with an air traffic control tower. And we're going to have this air traffic control tower watch this airplane. So when I see the tower, I see that the tower is at a 32-degree angle of elevation, or that the plane is a 32-degree angle of elevation from the tower, meaning the people in the tower have to adjust their line of sight up 32 degrees to view the plane. Now, the distance from the tower to the plane is 5,000 feet, and we want to find the elevation of the plane. So, knowing that the angle is 32 degrees, I see that I have the opposite over the adjacent, and that's the tangent function. So the tangent of 32 is x over 5,000. So when I multiply both sides by 5,000, I find out that the value of x is 3,124 feet. That is the elevation of the plane. The angle of depression is exactly the same as the angle of elevation, except here we're looking down. So the horizon line may be elevated in the air, and we're going to look down. So now I have an example of a tower, and we're going to pretend that sitting on top of this tower is a little alien guy. So here's my tower, and here's my little alien man standing on top of it. And the angle of depression is the angle in which the alien has to look down upon this fire. So we're going to suppose that the alien wants to call the fire station. So the angle of depression is 28 degrees, and the tower is 40 feet tall. I know that the tower is 40 feet tall. So I'm trying to figure out how far away the tower is from the fire so I can give good directions to the fire station. So I've labeled that distance from the tower to the fire as x. So again, you see that I have the opposite over the adjacent. So the tangent of 28 equals 40 over x. And you know that when we have the variable as the denominator, we can actually just swap spots. So I'm going to rewrite this as x equals 40 over the tangent of 28. And I discover that x is 75 feet. So the tower is 75 feet away from the fire. Now I want to show you that this horizon line, or this line of sight from the alien looking straight out, is actually parallel to the horizon or the ground. So we learned in semester 1, actually, that when I have two parallel lines, I've learned that the alternate interior angles are congruent. So if the angle of depression from the alien looking down to the fire is 28 degrees, then the angle of elevation, or the fire looking up to the alien, is also 28 degrees. So I can actually adjust my picture and still get the same answer. So from this, hopefully you figured out that the angle of elevation and the angle of depression are the same. It just depends on the perspective of the drawing.